Hey, good evening and welcome in to a solo edition of the Press Pros Monday Huddle. I'm Bruce Hooley. Glad to have you along. If in fact you are along. Oh yeah, I see a couple of you are watching on our live stream. It's your chance to be the co-star of the show. Where is my normal co-host, Lyle Sunny Folks? Well, right about now, he's probably somewhere over, I don't know, maybe Illinois, maybe Missouri, on his way back from Phoenix, Arizona, where he was covering the Ohio State baseball Buckeyes over the weekend. They only won 1 out of 4 games, but at least they won the last one, so the trip home is a little bit less unpleasant than it otherwise might have been. So I'm here alone because I thought I can't let the people hang with no Monday Huddle show for 2 consecutive weeks while we have an unbelievable amount of amazing high school basketball coming your way this week. And I'm not kidding. Right now, tonight, Afrocentric is playing and Worthington Christian are playing in the Division III boys district in Central Ohio. Then tomorrow night, it really starts to get underway in earnest for the entire Press Pros coverage area. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because if you want to see a high-level basketball game this week, you can pick your night. You say, well, I'm not free Tuesday night. Okay, wait till Wednesday. I'm not free Wednesday or Tuesday. How about Thursday? Maybe not Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday or Thursday. What about Friday or Saturday? You got your choice on Saturday. You got nighttime or afternoon. We got that many games. They are all phenomenal. And so let's run through them. And I'd love to have you guys comment tonight on Facebook or via Twitter if you can tell me something about your team that I don't know. We'll get to the basketball Buckeyes. Ooh, big win yesterday against Illinois. Roddy Gale jamming against the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Man, were they asleep. Whew. For Illinois' sake, I hope they don't play any more 11 a.m. tips on their body clock because they were not present. And speaking of not being present, Dayton wasn't really present for its game against George Mason. We'll cover that one too. We've got the Big Ten Wrestling Championships coming up. State bowling is this weekend. But we're going to start with basketball because basketball is where it is happening the most in terms of our interest from our Press Pros audience. So Tuesday night, all you people in Mercer County, all you MAC fans, you're going to have to move your point of emphasis out of MAC home country and move it up to Wapakoneta, because at Wapak High School on Tuesday night, we have a smorgasbord of MAC basketball. We've got in the opener, New Bremen against St. Henry. New Bremen against St. Henry. New Bremen is the 2nd seed. St. Henry is the 4th seed. St. Henry got here a year ago where they lost to Marion Local in this game, I believe. New Bremen got upset last year by St. Henry, if my memory serves me correct, but they are now within a win of winning a district championship. So that is the 6 p.m. game. The 7:30 game, and I'm going to tell you something, there's no way they're getting this game started by 7:30. Don't not show up by 7:30 on account of me. You say, Hooley told me it wasn't going to start on time at 7:30. No. I'm just going off last year. They had to take a break to let people in because a lot of people were leaving after game 1. There was no parking. The roads around Wapakoneta High School were an absolute mess. So we're going to see how this goes. But my advice would be, if you're going for the second game, you better go and take in the first game because it's going to be packed. And I don't think anybody, particularly the winning team from New Bremen and St. Henry, are going to leave after game 1. Why? Because they're going to want to see who they play. You're going to want to see who they play. So, second game, top seed Marion Local against number 5 seed Fort Recovery. See, I told you it was a smorgasbord of MAC basketball. All right, that is Tuesday night at Wapakoneta High School. Now let's move to Wednesday, where the spotlight shifts to Central Ohio. Girls Division I Regional. Remember, the girls are a week ahead of the boys. Girls Division I Regional semis at Westerville North High School. Hold up, Bruce. It says on my bracket that's at Westerville South. Well, that was before Westerville South upset Olentangy Liberty. Liberty was either in or on the cusp of being in the top 10 in the state of Ohio, and Westerville South was not. And I can't figure out how, because Westerville South's 24-2. 24-2. How are they not ranked? Well, they knocked off Liberty over the weekend, and Westerville South, they're not going to let them play on their home court. That's why this game will be at Westerville North High School. Who are they playing? Well, they're playing Marysville. Now, I've seen Marysville, and they are not a team that in the layup line you're going to go, wow, look at those athletes. No, you're not going to say that. Not to say they don't have good athletes, but they're not an impressive team to look at. But just wait until the ball goes up. Man, you want to talk about a well-coached basketball team. Clark Ransom, I've watched his teams play for like the last 4 years. Wow, do they defend? Yes. Wow, do they pass, cut away, anything fundamental? Marysville does it, and they do it exceptionally well. So congrats to Marysville on winning a district championship. I know that had been a hurdle to get over. They win their district. Now they get to face Westerville South in Westerville, but at least not at South High School. That's one semi. All right, the other semi is a team that most people consider the class of Central Ohio, and that's Pick Central. Pickerington Central, boys are the defending state champs. Girls are good enough to succeed Reynoldsburg as the Division I state champion out of Central Ohio this year. Now, why is Reynoldsburg not in the regional semifinals? Because Dublin Kaufman, boom, knocked them out over the weekend. Dublin Kaufman gets the W. They hit 16 threes in that win over Reynoldsburg. So I covered the Kaufman Pick Central regular season game at Kaufman, and it was a blowout, 24-point victory by Pick Central, and they could have named it that night. Barry Wallace inside, Madison Green outside. They were the dominant team that night. But here's the thing. Kaufman did not hit threes that night. Tessa Grady going to Wisconsin on a D1 full scholarship. Tessa Grady, that had to be her worst game of the year. She was a non-factor in that game. Now you can say, well, she was a non-factor in that game because she's on the top of the scouting report for Pick Central. And you might be right. You might be right. But she's got to play a better game this time. She's got to play a better game if Kaufman's going to have any chance at all. Jenna Copier had a really good game against Pick North the first time. They're going to need Copier. They're going to need Tessa Grady. They're going to need Kieran McGuff. They're going to need everything they got to get by Pick North. But that is your other semifinal. All right, so there you go. There's Tuesday and Wednesday. You say, well, what about Thursday? Because that's the night I'm free. Okay, Thursday. Wow, what choices you have. Wait. That's all Tuesday. My bad. That's all Tuesday. I got so many games. Look at this. I got this many games. Well, you can't see. Trust me. They're there. See? I got them all. All right. Those games are Tuesday. Those girls' semis are Tuesday. Now we go to Wednesday. All right, now we go to Wednesday. At UD Arena. At UD Arena Wednesday. Okay, you with me? Russia against Springfield Catholic Central in the 5:30 tip. So this is a district title game. Russia, top 10 team, state of Ohio. Hayden Quinter. We all know Russia's players playing for the late, great coach Dave Borchers. Tragically killed in a car accident this past summer. Man, our hearts remain with the Russia community, but those guys are playing their tails off for Spencer Cadonier, and they are going to have to really, really, really buckle their chin strap for Springfield Catholic Central. You say, buckle their chin strap? Isn't that a football term? Yeah, it is. And when you play Springfield Catholic Central in basketball, you better buckle your chin strap, because in the postseason, when officiating gets even worse than it is in the regular season, yeah, I said it, don't at me. Springfield Catholic Central plays kind of half basketball and half football, and they're allowed to get away with it in the postseason. I saw them last year in the regional semis against Botkins. It was a joke what Springfield Catholic Central was allowed to get away with, but they let them get away with it. And as they say, it's not a foul if they don't call it. So Russia better be ready. Thankfully, they play in the Shelby County League, where they've been known to have a few sharp elbows. So Russia better be ready for that one. Springfield Catholic Central will bring it strong. They're a very physical basketball team. That is your 5:30 game. At 7:30, Troy Christian, Ray Zawadski, Parker Penrod. Troy Christian hits the floor at 7:30 to take on Cincinnati Riverview Eastern Academy. How do you fit all that on a jersey? I don't know. CREA. Cincinnati Riverview Eastern Academy. Are they good? Well, they're 21-1. Now, some of the schools that they've played, I go, sounds a little suspect. But Cincinnati Riverview Eastern Academy has a win on their schedule over Cincinnati College Prep. And that name's going to come up a little bit later on, but I don't want to get to them yet because we're still going progressively through the week, okay? So there are your games on Wednesday. If you're looking for the best of Miami County, the best of Shelby County, Troy Christian, Russia, not playing each other, but they're playing 5:30, 7:30 UD Arena. All right, let's switch. Well, wait. We got a girls game that night too. Versailles, probably the Cinderella team we have left in the postseason tournaments. Versailles in the regionals in Division III, Springfield High School. Shout out Versailles. I got to believe I'm going to see a lot of the same girls who helped Versailles get to the state championship game or maybe it was the semifinals, I think. State semifinals in volleyball. A lot of great athletes at Versailles. Got obviously big-time state championship pedigree at Versailles in football and other sports. The Versailles Tigers are taking on – who was it they're taking on? I had that written down, and now I cannot remember. It is – Sabina East Clinton. Sabina East Clinton. What do I know about Sabina East Clinton? Next to nothing. They've lost twice, but their win to get into this game against Versailles, one of their wins in the tournament, was over Anna by 6. And I'm thinking, well, Versailles would be able to hang with Anna, I'm sure. So if Anna can hang with Sabina East Clinton, maybe Versailles can win that game and get into a regional final where they would most likely run into Afrocentric out of Columbus. Okay, so we've covered the girls' game with Versailles. We've covered the boys in Division 4. What about the boys in Division 1? Okay. These are at a bunch of different locations. Central Ohio teams. Top 10 Orange against Grove City, 7 o'clock, Upper Arlington. Dublin Kaufman, number 17 seed against Olentangy Liberty, the number 2 seed. That's at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night at Jonathan Alder. Westerville North and Westerville South. Hide the women and the children. Whoa. Third matchup this year. They've both been phenomenal. North and South on Wednesday night. Booyah. That's going to be a battle at Big Walnut. And the final Division 1 district game on Wednesday night is Hilliard-Davidson, an upset winner, the 24th seed in the Central District against 5th-seeded Jerome. I know a lot of you Miami East people are pulling for Jerome and head coach Richie Beard. Richie Beard has a long history at Miami East. Speaking of Miami East, we move to Thursday. Miami East getting it underway against Cincinnati Marymount in the Division III boys tournament. 7:30 tip at the University of Dayton Arena. But just up the road that night is where I'll be. Come say hello, because I will be at the Division IV Girls Regional, Vandalia Butler High School. And what a doubleheader we have. Number 1 in the state, Tri-Village, Brad Gray doing a tremendous job. Riley Sagaster, state all-time record holder in 3-point field goals for girls. They have the first game that night, and what I said about Springfield Catholic and being ready to play physical before, the same goes for you, Tri-Village. You better be ready, because Marion Local is your opponent. Marion Local, they will not be shy. They probably believe they should win this game, even though Tri-Village is ranked number 1. Marion Local is also ranked in the top 10. That one is going to be a tremendous game, and it'll be followed by another tremendous game and a Shelby County League showdown between Fort Loramie, ranked number 2 in the state, head coach Carla Siegel, and Russia, also, I think, on the cusp of being ranked in the top 10 with Paul Bremergen. Monster matchup. Those 2 winners will play Saturday. We'll get to that because we haven't gotten to Friday yet. All right, what do we have Friday? We'll be back in Wapak because we'll have the New Bremen St. Henry winner against the Marion Local Fort Recovery winner. That's a 6 o'clock game. It's the only game that night at Wapak. Also that night down at UD Arena. No, we're not done at UD yet. We're in Division III boys, where we have Tri-Village, Josh Sagaster, coaching Tri-Village, state runner-up last year in Division 4. They are up to Division 3 this year, and they are still rolling. They will take on Greenview. That's a 7:30 tip. The first game that night, 5:30 tip, Jackson Center, Scott Elkert. They got past Fort Loramie on Saturday night at Piqua. And I want to talk about that game for a little bit because Jackson Center had to tough that one out. They faced, remember I told you I'd come back to Cincinnati College Prep a little bit later on? Well, now's later on because Cincinnati College Prep is their opponent. Now, Cincinnati College Prep lost to Cincinnati Riverview Eastern Academy, but Cincinnati College Prep has a 6'1" point guard who is far and away the best player on their team. Now, Versailles, I would have said before Saturday night, can take any great player out of a game with their outstanding defense. But if you were at Garbry Gymnasium on Saturday night, you watched Fort Loramie almost knock Jackson Center out thanks to the exploits of the man of the hour, or in his case, the Maurer of the hour, Caleb Maurer. What a night. What a night for Caleb Maurer. He was hitting threes. He was hitting drives. He was hitting pull-ups. He was hitting turnarounds. He was hitting everything. 30 points for Caleb Maurer against Jackson Center. Are you kidding me? That doesn't happen. When's the last time somebody scored 30 on a Scott Elkert coach team at Jackson Center? Scott Elkert couldn't remember. Carter Plyman had 25 earlier this year, but that's not 30. And Caleb Maurer had 30 of Loramie's 46. Wasn't enough, but Jackson Center had to dig deep. They got some big-time free throws from Reed Plattfoot. They got some big-time jump shots from Jace Mullenauer. I love the way Camden Reese runs a point. So Jackson Center is legit, and they take on Cincinnati College Prep. 5:30 Friday, Tri-Village and Greenview follow. Also in Division I girls, that night is your regional championship game in Division I. Steve Blackledge will have that one covered from Westerville North High School. Now we get to Saturday. See, I told you we had a game every night. I told you. You think I was kidding? I wasn't kidding. Saturday, championship game, Division IV, girls regional, Vandalia Butler High School, 1 p.m. Don't be late. Don't be coming at 6 thinking you're going to see it, because you're not. Everybody will be out of there by then. The nuts will be off the rim. Everything will be over. 1 p.m. tip, the Tri-Village Marion local winner against the Fort Loramie Russia winner for a trip to the state Final Four in UD Arena. That's next weekend. That's next weekend. So that's your game Saturday afternoon. But we're not done. If you want to see games all day, I think you have to pay for each one of these games individually. Don't hold me to that. Maybe they have double headers, but there are 4 games on Saturday at Ohio Dominican University on the near east side of Columbus, and that will decide your district champions in Division I boys in the Central Ohio region. First game, Westerville South, Westerville North winner against the Davidson Jerome winner. That's not the first game. My bad. The first game is Olentangy Orange Grove City against Delaware Hayes Pick North. That's 2 top 10s in the state of Ohio playing for a district championship. That's crazy. Mikey McCollum against Devin Royal. Woo, what a game. All right, the 2 o'clock game, Dublin Kaufman, Jamie Collins, and the Kaufman Shamrocks trying to pull the upset over Olentangy Liberty. Greg Nosselman, he's got Alex Oakley, he's got James Hummel, Liberty. You look at Liberty, you go, I don't really know. Tyler Knops made them a much better team. 6'7", good inside-outside presence. Liberty's legit. They play the Newark Gahanna Lincoln winner at 2 p.m. The 5 o'clock game, your reigning state champ, Pick North, Devin Royal on the court. Take out, or might not be on the court. Maybe they get upset by Olentangy Berlin on Wednesday night. The winner of Pick North and Olentangy Berlin takes on the winner of Hilliard Bradley. Cade Norris, one of the best players in Central Ohio. He's got a big future ahead of him, although not next year because he's still a junior, Cade Norris. He's got 1,000 points already against Columbus St. Charles. That's your 5 o'clock game. So you got 11, 2, 5, and 7. The 7 o'clock game is the Westerville North, Westerville South Survivor against the Davidson Jerome Survivor. So that's your 7 o'clock game. All right. So there we go. Now, I spoke about the outstanding win by Jackson Center. What I have not spoken about yet is about Ohio State's win over Illinois on Sunday. Buckeye baseball, as I told you earlier, won 1 out of 4 in Arizona. They're back in Dallas this coming weekend. The Buckeye basketball team took advantage of a sleepy Illinois team. This was the play of the game. Bryce Sensabaugh dunking over Matthew Mayer. But the real news coming out of this game was the postgame, where I asked Chris Holtman in the postgame, I said, there's a lot of talk about your future. You've lost until today, 9 in a row, 14 out of 15. And everybody talks about it like you might get fired. But what if you don't get fired? What if another school comes and says, hey, Coach Holtman, they don't love you at Ohio State, but we love you. We want you to come coach Notre Dame. We want you to come coach Mississippi. Would you leave Ohio State to go to those programs? Now, I know he's not going to give me a straight up answer to that question, so that's why I didn't ask it. What I said was, if Ohio State wants you back, are you committed to staying? Well, you say right now that if Ohio State wants you back, you won't listen to any other job offers. And to my surprise, Chris Holtmann left himself no wiggle room. He said, absolutely. I love it here. And in case I missed it the first time, he said it a second time. I love it here. Now, Ohio State's not going to fire him. The Illinois win helps, gets the Wolves quieted down a little bit. They owe him for 5 more years on his contract. Not going to eat that, even though they could. They're not going to eat that. And here's the big thing with Chris Holtmann and Ohio State. As I wrote in this column on PressProsMagazine.com, you want to fire Chris Holtmann? Okay. Who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? Can you imagine Ohio State introducing, ladies and gentlemen, the next coach of the Ohio State basketball Buckeyes, Chris Beard? Oh, no. Texas fired Chris Beard because he had a domestic violence incident. Chris Beard not getting the Ohio State job. Can you imagine Ohio State hiring, Rick Pitino? Rick Pitino cleared by the NCAA in that messy Louisville exit. Rick Pitino, no, can't imagine that either. Too much baggage. He's got more baggage than a Greyhound bus. Well, it worked before to go to Xavier and get their coach. That might have worked out pretty well. He's the all-time winningest coach at Ohio State, Bruce. Why don't they just go to Xavier? Because Sean Miller owes Xavier for giving him another chance after Arizona fired him for, showing up on an FBI wiretap. Now, granted, all that's legal now. You can pay those kids whatever you want, but back then you couldn't. Sean Miller somehow skated on the FBI wiretap thing, but I don't think Ohio State wants that kind of a profile of a coach. And I think the Xavier people, I honestly think you'd have to hire a 24/7, 365 bodyguard for Sean Miller and his family if he left Xavier after they gave him a second chance and after he got him in the top 25. Sean Miller's a really good coach. Time is not right for him to come to Ohio State. Not that I think he would have any interest. He might not. He might love Xavier so much for smiling upon him and realizing, hey, we need a coach, and Sean Miller's pretty good. Let's forget the whole FBI stuff. No, Sean Miller's not coming. Who else? Who else is out there? Well, I know a guy who'd run to Columbus, probably on his hands and knees, Steve Alford from Nevada. You want Steve Alford? I think Steve Alford would do a pretty good job. I think Steve Alford would do pretty much the same kind of job as Chris Holtmann. Steve Alford at Iowa, some good years and some not so good years. And Steve Alford at UCLA had some great years and some really bad years. Steve Alford is just kind of Holtmann-like. You might get to an Elite Eight. You might get to a Final Four. I don't know that he's any better than Chris Holtmann. I'd leave Chris Holtmann in place. See, a lot of people think when I've written about Ohio State basketball during this incredibly awful stretch of basketball that I want Chris Holtmann fired. I don't care one way or the other. I don't want him fired. I don't want him not fired. It's not my place to say. I don't pay him. He don't work for me. So I've just always thought that it didn't make any sense to fire Chris Holtmann unless you had somebody locked and loaded to go get. And who are you going to go get? Jeff Bowles from OU? Come on. You're going to take a chance on John Gross, who failed at Illinois? He's doing a pretty good job at Akron? See, nobody jumps off the page at you. And if you're going to fire Chris Holtmann with the class he has coming in and the guys that he hopefully will have back, costing yourself to get the same kind of coach you already have. Doesn't make any sense. All right, the UD Flyers. They have not been suffering through a 9-game losing streak or a 14 out of 15 game losing streak, but their loss in this particular game right here on Saturday to George Mason at home was what we call a bad loss. Yeah, really bad. Now, it's never a bad loss in the sense that if you're reading about the UD Flyers on Press Pros, you are reading it from the Hall of Famer, Hal McCoy. And I got to read you this. Hal McCoy. I got to read you this Hal McCoy lead because it's just so good. Hal's not a Hall of Famer by accident. Hal writes, call up the NCAA statistics. Scroll down, keep scrolling, down, 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 keep going, almost to the end. That's where they will be, near the bottom. 348th of 362 Division I basketball schools. And yet, there they were Saturday night at UD Arena, standing at the foul line like William Tell. The Apples didn't have a chance. That, my friends, is outstanding writing. Hal McCoy, unbelievably great writing. I love that so much. I wish I'd stolen it, but I have too much respect for the Hall of Famer to do that to him. Wow, is that a great lead on Dayton basketball. So that's what you get at Press Pros Magazine. Oh, and did I mention? No, I didn't. So I will mention it now. You do not pay for content at PressProsMagazine.com. You do not pay. You go to a newspaper site, see how many free stories you get off the Dayton Daily News site. See how many free stories you get off the Buckeye fan sites. They're going to make you pay for it eventually, or they're going to paywall it, so you have to pay for the extra or get on the message board or whatever. Everything at PressProsMagazine.com is free. Everything. Free. Always. And we thank our great sponsors for making that happen. Who are our sponsors? Well, we have a bazillion of them. Skynet Internet Services, Piqua, Ohio. For rural internet, you can't do better than Skynet Internet Services. Mr. Folks is not with us tonight to extol their virtues, so I will do it for him. Skynet Internet Services are tremendous. And as Sonny always says, if you call Skynet, they will answer the phone, 773-0998. Skynet Internet Services. They're tremendous. Don't forget my friends at Lehman's Hardware and Old Time General Store. They have products likes of which you have never seen before anywhere else. And here's one of them, the natural peanut butter stirrer. You know, if you go get natural peanut butter, it's really good for you. Tastes really good. The problem is, what happens? It separates, right? You get the peanut butter, and then you get the oil. The peanut butter on the bottom, the oil on the top. And then you try to get a knife out, and you try to stir it up, and it's really hard, and you slop it over the side of the jar, and it's a mess. That is why you need the natural peanut butter mixer. You take the lid off your peanut butter jar, you put this lid on it, you take this little hand crankaroonie thing, stick it down through the hole, and just rock and roll your way to the smoothest peanut butter ever. Now, nobody makes this except a local gentleman in Wayne County. He sells them all to Lehman's Hardware, and that's the only place you're going to be able to get it. So that's the one-of-a-kind item, the kind of one-of-a-kind item you get at Lehman's Hardware and Old Time General Store in Kidron, Ohio, 4 miles south of Route 30. You cannot miss it. And there on the crawler, your directions on how to win a Lehman's gift card worth $50. By the way, it's February the 27th, and we pull the name on March the 1st, so there is no February 29th, 30th, or 31st. So I would get my entries in now to PressProsMagazine@gmail.com. PressProsMagazine@gmail.com. No, it's actually Press Pros Contest. Press Pros Contest. See, if I'd have read the crawl, I would have known that. PressProsContest@gmail.com. PressProsContest@gmail.com. Anything else? Yeah, I'm glad you asked. 15% off your order at Layman's.com when you use the promo code PressPros15. I got so many podcasts and promo codes in my head, I stumble over that one, but it is PressProsContest@gmail.com. All right, that will just about do it for us. I did not mention we have state bowling coming up this weekend. We have Ohio State basketball Wednesday night against Maryland, final home basketball game of the year. And this weekend, we will have wrestling, Ohio State wrestling at the Big Ten tournament. Now, if you don't know anything about Big Ten wrestling, that's okay. But I'm going to give you a fact. Periodic top 25 football, you'll see, 5 or 6 Big Ten teams or 5 or 6 SEC teams, right? You might even see 3 or 4 teams from one league in the top 10. And then you get to college basketball, and you might have, 4 or 5 or 6 ACC teams, or 4 or 5 or 6 Big Ten teams in the top 25. You think, wow, that's pretty good. 3 or 4 of them are in the top 10. Well, in wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, your top 25 is comprised of, are you ready for this? 10 Big Ten teams. 10. That's right. There are 10 Big Ten wrestling teams in the top 25 nationally. And there are like 5 or 6 In the top 10, including Ohio State, Penn State, defending national champion twice, Iowa, Ohio State, Nebraska, Michigan. Those 5 I know are in the top 10. I might have left one out because Indiana's pretty good. Rutgers is pretty good. Big Ten wrestling is sick. Northwestern is good. Northwestern is good. So check out the wrestling this weekend on the Big Ten Network. If you're not out at a game, I hope you will be out at a game, and I hope if you are, you will come up and say hello. Hit us with an email to the Reader Speaks. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. I sure hope next week Sonny Folks is here because it's exhausting talking for a half hour straight. And it's been my pleasure to be with you. Keep it locked right here on the PressProsMagazine.com social channels, and we will see you again very, very soon. Have a great night.